Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and this, well, it is a bit of an icon. Since 1989, Mazda has been cranking out bangers, and this is the latest iteration. Say hello to the 2024 Mazda MX-5 Miata. Yes, this is the latest iteration of the perfect sports car on US shores, but seeing as this fourth generation has been with us for right at a decade now, is it still really that good, or is it in need of an upgrade? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what this one has been like to live with for a full week. Stay tuned. First things first, I want to say thank you to Mazda for sending me yet another MX-5 Miata to review for you here on the channel. It's about a year ago since we had our last one, but there have been some significant, though very minor updates to this perfect sports car that we need to talk about. And first, we'll go ahead and start under the hood because that remains relatively unchanged. Yeah, Mazda doesn't really want to mess with perfection. In its 4 generations of life, the MX-5 Miata has been considered by some to be underpowered, and different variants and spin-offs, i.e. the Fiat version that rode on a shared platform, have had more power. And yes, there are the usual LS swaps that happen with these, but it really is perfectly balanced as is. This is using the latest iteration of their SKYACTIV naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. It is a 2-liter 4-cylinder making 181 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque when you use the recommended 91 plus Octane. It is all routed to the rear wheels as it should be through a 6-speed manual transmission with a short throw shifter, and with the lightweight, small size and stature of this vehicle, it all works out just perfectly. So yes, could be considered underpowered, but have you seen how big this vehicle is? It is so small and so light, and Mazda has done all the right things to keep the weight down. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Summing up the MX-5 Miata, it's everything you need and nothing you don't. You saw earlier when I opened the hood, we had a prop rod instead of gas struts holding it up. Again, just keeping the weight down, keeping this thing fun, light. Everything you need, nothing you don't. For 2024, there are subtle, and I mean subtle, interior and exterior cues to really give this one away. First off, I do want to say this is fun in this zircon sand metallic premium paint, but I'm sorry, it is a travesty. All Miatas should be painted in Mazda's Soul Red Crystal. That should just be a given. It is the best red on the market, and this is the best sports car on the market. Those two should go hand in hand. I like it, don't get me wrong, but Soul Red Crystal is much better than the zircon sand. When we take a look at it, its signature happy face is still with us. All generations have had some version of this happy smile on the front, whether it be the NA, NB, NC, or this ND. They've all been very happy to see you. And updated for this model year are your LED turn signals, which you can see here, and just a few small, subtle tweaks. We do have the club option, which is the mid-trim right above the sport, right below the, I believe it's signature or touring. I'll put it on the screen, but this is the mid-grade, but it has the Aero package, the BBS package, and Brembo brakes. So we've got the sport add-ons that you want on this one, and that involves first this chin splitter here. You can see contrasts very nicely against the zircon sand and gives it just a little more aggressive front end. As we come around to the side, you can see we get these 17-inch BBS forged wheels. They say they are gunmetal, but those are black wheels. I'm sorry, those are black wheels. I really do like them. They are a nice touch, and I love that they aren't 18s or 19s because one, you probably couldn't fit that large of a tire on this, and two, it is just getting ridiculous how big wheels and tires have gotten on all other vehicles here lately. It is a travesty. Let's keep the weight down. And yes, that means putting on smaller wheels and tires. These are, like I said, 17-inch wheels and tires, and you can see we have got 205 45 R17 Bridgestone PotenzaTires. So again, this thing does not take itself too seriously. Yes, we can have Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tires on it, full summer tires, something crazy like that. But these are decent tires. We've sampled them on the Nissan Z. Though in that vehicle with its added power, when the tires were ready to give up, they gave up. You can see back behind we do have Brembo brakes up front, but back in the back we do have Mazda brakes. So again, putting the emphasis where it is really needed. Again, this is a very light vehicle, so you don't need a lot of stopping power, but the added stopping power of these Brembo disc brakes up front definitely helps. The black Aero continues down the side here. We get those side skirts, black contrasting mirrors, and a very nice contrasting look, again, with those BBS forged wheels. As we fully pull around to the side here, you can see there really isn't much to this vehicle. I really like the little kick up on the rear hip back there, unlike the NA Miata, which really was just kind of a straight line from the hood line all the way back. This one's got curves and a lot of dynamic design to it that I can really appreciate here in 2024. Yes, coming back to the back, we've got a little bit of a hip going on back here. And then you can see modern safety regulations. We do have the safety hoops there behind the headrests. We still get a fully manual top on this one, though. Now here in the modern era, yes, you can opt for a retractable hardtop, but why would you? This really is the weight that it should be. Hardtop adds weight and takes away from some of the character of this vehicle. And then as we move around to the back, you can see LED taillights back here and all LED lighting. It is very nice. We do get a black lip spoiler back here. And it looks like I did leave the trunk open. There is just a little bit of space back here. You can get a backpack nestled down very low back here, but maybe a carry-on bag or the next size up. But very small, compact trunk because, again, you're not going to need a lot of luggage. You're only carrying 2 people. You can remotely open that trunk with a button right here, and that does pop it open. So that is a nice touch. And then again, really like the curves and the design back here in the back. We do get 2 exhaust pipes back here, but they are both relegated to the passenger side. And then again, that black lower skirting does continue around back here to the back. And we do still get an old school actual antenna, no antenna baked into the windshield or anything like that. So again, showing you a little bit of the age of this vehicle, but it does harken back to a wonderful era of small, lightweight sports cars that really started post-war in Europe and never really caught on to the same degree here in the States. Moving to the inside, it is compact. There is no lie about that. I am 5'10". I am the average height American male. This vehicle was made for me, but let me take you on a quick tour of what it's like here inside the MX-5 Miata. Before we climb in this one, I do want to show you the key. Typical Mazda key. Just like every other Mazda we've tested, all your buttons are here on the side. You have lock, unlock, your hatch or trunk button, and a panic button, and you can deploy a physical key, nothing else. This being a 6-speed manual, there is no remote start, so you don't have to worry about that. And it is a proximity key, so you can simply keep it in your pocket, your purse, wherever the case may be. It is not a passive entry. You can see it is an active. You have to push this button to lock and unlock, but it does make it very easy to get in. And yes, I could reach over because the top has barely been up on this. The windows have barely been up on this, but yes, it's very easy to get into. I've heard a lot of stories about these soft tops being cut into. Are people really that desperate to steal one of these? It is still one of the most affordable sports cars on the market. I don't know. Taking a look at the door panels, we get that zircon sand here on the inside as well. So whatever exterior color you have does find its way to the interior on the top of the door panels, and it does kind of translate just a little bit up there to the dash, which is a nice touch. We get this textured material here that does kind of resemble carbon fiber, but is not carbon fiber. It's plastic. You can see your mirror and window controls all right here. Fully manual seats here on this one, and to go with the racing package that we have with those BBS forged wheels and the skirting, we get Recaro seats here. They are suede inset, they're heated, and they are very comfortable, but they are fully manual, everything on it. So again, going back to that theme of everything you need, nothing you don't. Fully manual seats. Why weight this car down with all the mechanics to make them power seats when really you're not going to be moving them all that much? There isn't a lot of space. There are some luxuries, though I kind of see them as necessary. We do have the Bose sound system with speakers in the headrest here, and if you're cruising top down and you want to hear whatever you're playing on the stereo system, you're going to appreciate these speakers here in the headrest. Your glove box, whoops, is actually right here. Yeah, that is how you put the top back up, but your glove box is actually right here, and it's a decent size for just how small this vehicle is. The top can be lifted and pulled up from right there. It is super easy, barely an inconvenience, and then you can see we get a wind diffuser right there. We'll talk more about that as we're driving, but now I'm gonna get my happy butt into this car. At nearly 40 years old, you can see there's a little bit of a practice to it. You gotta let gravity do it all, but it is made so much easier with the top down. Getting in and out with the top up, well, that's a little bit of a different story, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you here just how easy it is to do from the driver's seat. There, one-handed, the top is now up. I was able to do it while holding it and talking to a camera, and then again, putting it down, same story. Very easy. So if you're stopped at a light and the weather changes on you, there you go. You can see I am 5'10". This is my sight line. I know I've got friends that are like 6'4" that say that this is their sight line, and that is unfortunate. I can't do much about that, but I am the average American male. This car was built for me. The average height American male, 5'10". So this car fits me like a glove. But that is not the case for everybody, and I know there are some people that are dying to get in a car like this that just can't fit. And to you, I say I am extremely sorry, because this car is so much fun. Why don't we pan around and show you what little there is to show you on the inside here. I'm gonna go ahead and put my foot on the brake and the clutch, fire it up, and we'll start here over my left knee. You can see we've got traction off, you've got your safety systems, you can disable the sound, and that's about it. We get a lot of poverty buttons here. So again, I mentioned this is the club, it's the mid trim, but yes, we get some poverty blanks right here, but race mode, traction off, and traction off. Interesting that they give you a couple of options. Oh, your lighting controls are here, your wiper controls are here, but as we take a look back behind the steering wheel, you can see what is really important to the Mazda engineers and designers. Is it a speedometer in the middle? No, it's the tachometer, and you can see over 7,000 RPM redline. Screens are kept to a minimum in this vehicle. Yes, this gauge pod is a full screen and is all you really need here. You can page through a few different things here with the info button, different trip computers, your safety stuff, your directions, but I've been keeping it here on my trip computer. You do get a very large tach with a gear indicator right here. Let's see if I could put it in first gear, will it? No, it doesn't tell you until you lift off the clutch. And then over here is your speedometer. You can see over 140 miles per hour, but this vehicle's limited at, I believe, 139. I don't know that I would want to get this much faster, but just showing you exactly what is important. We do have a nice tight, small steering wheel on this, but it is your typical Mazda steering wheel. All your usual buttons are found here. One of the big upgrades for 2024 is a larger screen. It is still widescreen. It's 8.8 inches. It does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So again, everything you need with nothing that you don't. You don't need to plug your phone in. It just goes for you, and you can listen to whatever you want. Yeah. We can get your hazard button right here, 4 air vents across the front. So I like how the driver's air vents are these little round ones. This is the only one that is a different shape. Manual AC controls right here, because again, very small cabin. How often is the top really going to be up on this? And no need for dual zone. Coming down here, you get your passenger airbag light. I did mention heated seats. You get 2 USB-C ports, a spot that is just big enough for my iPhone 14 Pro Max to fit in there. Before we get to the short throw 6-speed gearbox, I really love this shifter. It is so good and just so precise in what it does. Good old-fashioned actual handbrake. These are dying out, and even my beloved Camaro in its last generation had an electronic parking brake. Bring back manual handbrakes. I'm sorry. This being a Mazda, we still get the command knob and the volume knob. I feel like here in the Miata, it's just a little too far back for it to be comfortable. But again, this is what is important, being right where you need to grab it in the 6-speed shifter. I will go ahead and show you. This is how you put it in reverse. That does trigger the backup camera. But yeah, this is almost a little bit too far back, but say what you will about the command knob. Here it is. We do get a little bit of center console storage. Don't know what you're putting there. Maybe a pack of travel tissues, but there you go. A couple of removable cup holders that can be placed up here. This would be more for if you did not have a passenger. Let me make sure I actually get it in there right. If you were flying solo, that would work as a somewhat decent spot. Again, let's see, put that down. Yeah, somewhat decent spot for a cup holder there if it were just me in the vehicle, though you can take them out completely. And then again, your glove box right there. I'm gonna put the top up one more time just to show you how much headroom I have in here when the top is up. You can see just a little bit up here. I'm not touching, but it is a nice soft top, very easy to open and close. No complaints there. But yeah, let's get back in motion because it's already starting to get warm here on this East Texas summer day. Yes, the interior is just big enough for me and one friend, and that is it. That is all I need. I've got space in the trunk for a weekend getaway if that's on my mind. But what's really on my mind is curving corners. This road right here, this car right here, this is why this vehicle exists. We don't really have a lot of perfect driving roads for a European style sports car here in East Texas, but this is one of them. And that European style sports car needs a little bit of explanation. See, America is huge. We have long, straight roads practically everywhere. Space is not of a concern, but post-war, well, in Europe, when people with money were looking to have fun, this size, this power, this everything, this formula is what really took off. And yes, there was some interest in the States. That is the genesis of the Corvette. Gen 1 Corvette didn't even have a V8, but since then it became more Americanized. It got bigger and heavier and more powerful. But small, compact, lightweight sports cars were and still are all the rage in Europe. They're tighter roads, they're windier roads, they're more exciting to drive roads. Makes things just a little bit different overseas than here in America with our big, wide open, long straightaways. We like 0 to 60. We like fast acceleration. Let's see, an impromptu. Yeah! This thing pulls all the way to the red line, which, as I mentioned earlier, is over 7,000 RPM. You've really got to rev this thing out to get it going. But when you do, wind noise exists. But this car is all about turning corners and having fun while you do it. Mazda could add more power. They could make this thing take itself a little bit more seriously, but they don't have to. This thing is good as it is. It's so good as it is. It is minor tweaks here and there. Like I said, this current 4th generation has now been with us a decade, and it has been small, subtle changes year after year. for 2024, the big changes are subtle changes to the suspension, less body roll, and a more just connected feel to the road for the driver. And it is so much fun here on my favorite roads in East Texas. This is absolutely what this car was made for, carving corners in fun fashion. And if you subscribe to the James May principle of a car being the most fun at its limit, we can talk about those Bridgestone PotenzaTires just a little bit more. Yes, they could put Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires on it and take themselves more seriously. Yes, they can put a turbocharger on the now naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine and take itself more seriously. You can say putting Brembos on the front brakes is taking itself a little bit more seriously, but really the essence of this vehicle has remained the same since 1989. Small, lightweight, and fun, not taking itself too seriously, and allowing even an amateur driver to really have fun with this vehicle at its limits, to really test their limits and the vehicle's limits without getting crazy. And I say that because I have a podcast interview with the head of Mazda safety here on our YouTube channel and on any podcast platform you listen to, where the Mazda safety ethos even trickles down to this vehicle. We've got things like lane keep and lane monitoring. We have things like rear cross traffic and your backup camera, even though, yes, that's federally mandated. But this has all the necessary safety things, everything you need and nothing you don't. So even here in a fun two-seat European-style sports car, you can feel like Mazda has got your back and is taking your safety seriously. And let's face it, this is a truly fun car. Me, myself, I'm approaching 40. This would be a midlife crisis car for me, for sure. But unfortunately, with inflation and with the economy being what it is, I would have had to save $10,000 for every decade of my life so far to afford this one as it sits. Yes, we are flirting with $40,000 here on this club model with all of our options. And it's a little bit sad that it costs just so much to have an affordable sports car here in 2024. It's really the only knock I have against this vehicle is it is getting more and more pricey, but unfortunately that's due to the economy less than it is to do with Mazda. There you have it. That is all for my solo review of this vehicle. If you want to know Holly's thoughts, be sure and hit that subscribe button down below. Ring the bell so you are notified when future videos drop from us. Find us on all social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, you name it. Everything is at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com. We'll talk things like visibility and comfortability, how this is to live with when I get Holly in the passenger seat, because unfortunately, no, she will not be driving this one. She hasn't let me teach her stick just yet. But that is it for my time in the 2024 MX-5 Miata. Until next time, gearheads, bye.